Hi, how y'all doing today? Okay, I am on sit number 17. Make sure I'm correct here. 18. Okay, sit number 18 here in Australia. I'm in Queensland, Moura, Moura. And I have one dog right now. She's outside. It's a terrier pit mix. Very quiet, gentle dog. If you know from my last set, the dogs they were pretty excitable. This one here is pretty quiet. Um, this got going to be a long video. Um, but but yeah, I've learned some things about myself, some new, not so great things about myself. Here, it's been pretty quiet. This particular area is a coal mining town, and okay, stuff flying here. My equipment's flying here. Um, but I guess I've been in a kind of a depressive mode this particular sit. I guess it hit me kind of hard that I would have to be going back to the US. Um, for a few things. But I'll get to that. Let me talk about this particular sit, this dog in the house here. Um, the house here is, a smaller house, like most of the houses that I've sat in Australia. They don't have the bigger mega houses like they do in the States, at least none that I've encountered so far. Um, but it's okay. This particular one is a rental. The couple here rent. She said they're saving up money for a house on the coast. So they rent. Um, I forgot what she said she does for her career. She is still working. I want to think of something on the teacher, something in the teaching field, and he works within the coal industry. Um, like I said, the dog here is quiet. She doesn't chase after anything. She doesn't chase after um, pests. She doesn't chase after bugs. She come in, I usually give her a rub, and she comes by me for that connection. Today, this is my second to the last day being here. The couple will be back tomorrow afternoon, and it's been quiet. I've enjoyed there is I call it a butterfly attracting butterfly bush outside, right outside the front door here. It's beautiful. I'll try to post some pictures. I did a few videos of the butterflies, different kind of, I think I've identified three different butterflies. Don't know which ones are in the video. I got to the point where whenever I run to grab the camera, all of a sudden I can't see them anymore. So I just a few times left the camera sitting outside recording. There's been some very peaceful solitude moments, kind of almost like a meditation for me. Um, it's been pretty quiet. This town is. I did go out a couple of times. Unfortunately, my phone does not pick up a signal here. The This particular sit did not leave a they didn't leave a phone. Well, actually, I was looking for something else and I actually found the phone, but I don't know if it works or not. I didn't have a code for it. I contacted them about having uh, a phone for use. Like my last sit, they provided a phone when I got out because they are in a rural area. And when I got out, they wanted me to have maps that I was able to use, but this one didn't provide that one. So I, I charged the phone up because it was almost dead, but I don't have the code for it, so they didn't say it was okay to use, so I didn't use it. I put it back. The I'm not eating, I'm recording. Yeah, this is my seat that I sit in when I eat, so she's coming over here looking to see if it's anything that she can smell. One thing I've learned is not to feed them at the table. They do get food scraps, but I don't feed them at the table. But she does come and check it out, um, just to see. Okay, that's enough. But yeah, very, very mild dog. Most pits are, especially if they're mixed breed. A lot of pits, if they're mean, it's because they've been taught to be mean like any other dog from the owner. So, but yeah, she's not aggressive. She likes children. She'll watch it from a distance. The only time she barks is when it's time for her to go out and potty, and when it's time for her dinner. She knows she eats one main meal a day, and she knows what time that is. If I'm taking a nap or doing something else, she will start barking. One other time I did go out, and when I got back, I was getting stuff out of the car. I didn't take her with me because I had a few stops and she was going to have to stay in the car. So I just left her here. And when I got back, she heard the car going, she started barking. Um, what else about this particular? She has figured out how to get from the back to the front. The houses here sit on a platform. They don't have basements, but they have what do you call it? Like ah, like trailers or double wides. They have um space underneath for hookups, but these don't have hookups. These are all they're single family. I mean, I shouldn't say that. They might have been double wide. So they don't look it. They're very good camouflage if they are. They're just houses, but they all sit up on stilts. And so was the last town that I was at. But yeah, so it's air gets underneath it, and I'm sure if if it gets flooded in the area that I haven't heard about. I mean, it was raining when I got here. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, so this particular house, it's been pretty hot here in the 90s. Today it is probably in the mid to upper 80s. The weather's been pretty hot, pretty muggy here. They do have a community pool here, but I have not used it. A big part of it is because this particular set, like I said, this is their meager. They have meager items here. All of their furniture is cloth. I have not seen any. No, there was one table out in the back. It was weather beaten. Despite my few pounds weight loss, I have lost about 40 pounds since I've been here. Still, the chair didn't. I sat on it, didn't hold me up. It lasted for about 10 seconds, and it just collapsed. So, there are some chairs that I know that I won't sit in. Those are those plastic unibody chairs. I would not sit in those, particularly if they're hugging my hips. That means I won't be able to get out of them quick enough before they collapse. So I don't use that. I do have a plastic chair that I bought. It's an expandable. It fits in my suitcase. It's designed for short-term sitting, usually on tours or something like that, where I'm not going to be sitting for long periods of time. I did buy one of those, and I'll probably use it. I took it out earlier when I went out. I was supposed to be doing some sightseeing, but unbeknownst to me in this area, a lot of places are closed unless you call ahead, and they usually have phone numbers on the door or something like that. But by me not having a local number, I didn't write down a number and call. The only one I called was the vet. I did get when I got here, the dog was, um, a couple of things that he was doing that indicated to me that she needed her toenails clipped. I did mention something to with the lady before she left, because I did notice the dog's toenails are growing at side angles, and they seem to be kind of long. They when she was walking down the hall a few times, was a heavy click. Um, but anyway, I took it upon myself and I did go ahead and pay for it. The toenail clip for the dog, which was like $12 US, unheard of in the US. I'm sure it would have been twice, 2 or 3 times that amount in the US, but that's my contribution to the household. I did go ahead and get that done. A couple of times walking. The lady said she didn't need it because she walked on the sidewalk. She might not have needed that much, but when I called to make the appointment, they had she had never been in for nail clipping. Initially, I called myself was going to do it myself. I'm glad I didn't, because I was going to order some tools and do it myself. But she, at the doctor's office, at the vet office, she twitched and he actually drew blood on one of her nails. And that he had what he needed to have, the betadine, or I think it's called belladonna, and some other stuff to stop the bleeding. And I was glad that I did not do that. So, but yeah, what were some indicators that she needed nail clipping? Okay. The crookedness growth of the nails was one. Her, when we would go for a walk and come back in, as soon as we would open the door, she would just drop on the floor right in front of the door. Once the door swung, she would just drop. Like, I didn't know if it was exhaustion from the walk that we did, or her feet were hurting so much she just get me in the door, I'm done. And so that was a second indicator. And then the other one, like I mentioned, she would just drop. And this was whether she was coming in from a walk, whenever she would go lay down. It was like her feet were hurting so bad, or she couldn't get a grip to ease herself down on it. She would just drop. And that was the main concern for me, was her drop. And then also, where she would be standing on the wood floor, she would start sliding. It was like she couldn't catch herself. Her feet would just go out from underneath her, in the slide fashion, and she would just fall down on the floor. So those are the indicators that told me that, okay, either she has some hip things that she can't ease herself down on, and then the dropping down is not going to help, or her feet are so the padding on her foot is not touching the floor enough for her to catch herself, because her nails are too long. Her toenails are too long. So that's why I decided to go ahead and take her to the vet. And honestly, most of those have stopped. When we go for a walk, matter of fact, the same day that we went out for, right after let me do chronological. When the vet clipped her nails and he drew blood, and it was on one of the nails, he drew blood. Honestly, she jumped off the table, and we had to coat. He did pick her up and get her, because she's dense. So he did pick her up, put her back on the table, and I talked to her. She was heavy breathing, panting, squirming. So then I just kind of held her and talked to her softly, breathe for her, slow down her breath, kind of blowing her face a little bit, you know, turning where she couldn't see where he was because he needed to do her back nails. So, you know, I don't want her to twitch because honestly, I don't, like I said, I don't know if she twitched when he went to clip her nail, or he was so nervous because here this big black woman, at least my thinking is, here this big black woman is in this office, or he might have been nervous. I don't know. But anyway, when she got out of there, when we got out of there, I paid and got out of there, she was too weak to jump up in the truck. When we left here on going to the vet, she jumped up in the truck. Only other time was the very first time she was too weak when I went to drive her in the truck. Before, it was a little bit of a distance for her to get used to. But once she jumped in, I did help her in the first time, but then when she came out, we went to a park or somewhere we went, and she jumped out, and then she was able to measure how high she had to jump. And after that, she was not have a problem. When we went to the vet, she was too weak when we came out of there. And so basically I took her for a walk. I left the car sitting there in the parking lot at the vet office, and I just walked across the street to give her opportunity to calm down, to relax, to realize we were done. We're done in there. Let me get to walk, that because the walk did relax her. So she was able to, I noticed as soon as we came out of it, she was able to walk a little bit faster. We were in the grass. She's not a heavy grass walker. She doesn't mind it if it's shortcut, but it wasn't that. It was a little, it had been cut. It wasn't real short. But I told her she was a pig in another life because she likes to basically get her chin and chest area across the grass. She puts her feet, instead of being out like that, she puts them down and she scoots across the grass. It's kind of comical. It doesn't last a long time. A lot of times, by the time I grab the camera, I don't think I got her. I might have gotten her to a tail end on one video, but other than that, she's too quick with it. And it doesn't happen all the time. So, but yeah, so that seemed to, but that day, she really did scoot for longer than usual. So I knew that was her calming way to calm down, grounding, to kind of get stabilized, emotionally stabilized from the family's visit to the vet's office. So we walked, and okay, I'm not eating right now. I don't have anything to eat. Okay. Yeah, so I did that. She walked, I gave her a couple of, I do give her back massages. But yeah, and then once we did our little walk and we came back on the other side of the street and opened up, she was able to hop right in there. She had got her strength back to let go that she had shaken off the trauma, put it like that. So, but yeah, but since she's been back, like I said, I trusted my decision on that. Say she was able to come in the house. She didn't drop down when she first got in here. And actually, she hasn't done that since. We don't walk every day. They said, every other day will be fine, but I do like what I call a 36-hour rotation, 7 and 7. So 7 in the morning, the next day it's going to be 7 in the evening. The next day we'll skip. The day after that, it's going to be 7 in the morning. So I do what I call a 36-hour rotation. That works for her. And if I'm going anywhere that she will be able to get out, I will drive. But other than that, it's pretty hot here. So whenever I need to go out, I just go out. I don't go far. So, that's that. Okay, the house itself here, like I said, is pretty meek. They said I could eat, and I'm not sure. One thing that I've learned here is different people, and it's probably like that in the US. I've asked people if they want me to replace the food that I eat, and I get a mixed reaction. Some people say yes. Some people say no. The last place that I had, The last place that I had, they said no. They had plenty food, and they did have stockpile food and stuff like that. They were like, no. But the place before that, her comment was, I don't have to replace the food, but when she got back, whatever food was left, she would be willing to try it. So that was my indication that whatever I bought, she would, finish it up. She didn't have any, um, not too many dietary restrictions that I recall. The uh this one I don't. They're by them quoting that they're saving money up for a house. I mean, it was enough. I made it enough. They're what I would consider to be um minimalist. I would consider them to be minimalist. They don't say, but they probably be minimalist. Um the and maybe because of my own thinking, um I think the guy wanted to sabotage the vehicle. One of the things that I found out is some of these people, with usually my interviews with women, and they're the ones that usually have the format, the platform, but the vehicle that I'm allowed to use a lot of times is their partners or their husbands. I think she volunteered the vehicle, and he wasn't happy about that. But a couple of things. So one, he said I couldn't drive it far because first, what he said is the car kept cutting off. And based on her reaction and this lack of explanation, I think it was a potential to either scare me or sabotage. Because her reaction was, when he said he got home a little late that particular day. When I first got here, the first day that I was here, and he said, the car cut off, and she was like, "What do you mean the car cut off?" He said it cut off twice on the way home. She was like, "What you did? This is the first time it's ever done that." So it's like, okay. She just looked at him like, "I didn't know you're having problems with the car." He said, "Well, I haven't had problems before, but yeah." And then next thing I know, the car is unreliable. You can't drive it far, and this kind of stuff. So uh, that was a little bit of a monkey in the wrench. Now, I will be honest with you. It's not a lot to do in this area. This town is actually considered one of the bigger ones. The town's a little bit far apart. There's a lot of ranch in between. Um, the roads are paved. There are some dirt roads, which reminds me of a map that I had because I don't have the internet. I was relying on the map that the town, they call it Shire. Their um, neighborhoods are called shires, and it's like a region within. It's more of a region. I won't say it's a county because the county, what we would classify as county, is a big area. So it's a what's the word? Metro. I guess the word I'm looking for is metro area. So this particular area is called the Banana Shire. There's a town called Banana. How they got their name on that, I don't know, because I did go over there and they had basically a corner was their claim to fame. A corner with a big gas station. The area was spread out, probably less than half of this particular area. I'm not sure. Um, I the population here, I have to look it up. I'll look it up. It can be looked up. But I was very interested. Let me see if I can hold on a second. Let me see if I can pause this just to give you an idea of what the population is here. Hold on. Okay, so the population here in 2021 was 1993, basically 2,000 people. Um, but yeah, but one it also looked up if people here friendly says once you get to know them, and that's another issue that I had here. Um, but yeah, so the town here, they have um areas that you could cite if you want to. Coal mining is their big industry here. They have a Dawson Valley uh coal mine that I probably could have did a tour on, but like I said, I thought that it was, you know, operational, like it's not like in the US. You have to call ahead of time. You get to these areas and they have do not enter signs all over the place. There's no guard station. A couple of places it was a fence that was up with no contact information on the thing. One of the places that I went to was actually it was an explosives um, manufacturer of explosives for the mines. They had an ambulance area out in the front. But again, authorized personnel, not necessarily gain that I will not go by. I will not trespass on that. But there's no phone number that I noticed, no guards, no station, just said, authorized vehicles only. Um, and this area, and a lot of areas in Australia, rural areas are not necessarily, I would probably push or bend rules in the US. But because of safety reasons here, I won't do that. There are bridges here that you don't even know you're on a bridge. The only indication that you're on a bridge going over some water is two almost like short mile markers. Mile markers are if you're on a road, you do get these or probably meter markers that you pass by. They're reflective. Um, Now that I think about it, they're probably reflectors if people were driving at night to remind you that you're on a road. Um, they have areas here with drop-offs and no barriers on a lot of these roads, on a lot of the roads that I've been on. Um, if you're going over a creek, in this particular road that I'm thinking of, I went over so because I did take the vehicle out. I did test it to make sure of what the capability of the truck, because he kept saying it kept cutting off. And I think what it was is when he started the vehicle, he had the AC on. I know from driving cars in Michigan and around about leaving the heater or the AC on when you cut the car off. That's a battery drain a lot of times. So I just got in the habit of when I pull up and before I cut it off, I turn off, in this particular case, the AC. And so I haven't had any problems. It has stalled out on me at all. I've been out a few places kind of in the area. And what I would do is um I would go ahead and just test it on areas that are close by. Now I did look up tow truck vehicle and I did make sure that I went out. When I went out on this particular day, I had a map. I had the illusion of a map and I made sure I had the car had at least 3/4 of a tank of gas, the vehicle that I did buy. Come to think of it, they will be back on fuel that I paid for, but um, and so let me close this. It's cutting grass. Hold on. Okay, not gonna stop it completely, but that helps. That door open, get a decent breeze through here the last few days. Um, but yeah, so the vehicle did not cut off me on a short drives around here, so I did go ahead and decide to go on this what they call a loop. They had a book that was out from the local Shire Council, and by my map not working, my GPS didn't work, no signal when I got out. I decided to go ahead and use the map that they had in the book. Not a good idea. Let me hope this has been recording properly. Okay, not a good idea. The, I based my driving off the map when I got to a certain location. It said turn this because I wanted, because it's like a tri-city area or tri-town area that I wanted to see with some sightseeing in different towns. And using that particular map, when I got to a certain, going into the next town, when I got there, I decided to, it said, go in this town, according to the map, you're gonna go this area, you're going up here, meet up here, you make a right turn and you go down. And I drove for almost an hour when I got to this other town that was on a different map in the book. And basically what it was the town that I got in was not south, it was north of where I was at. I'm like, okay. So I turned around because again, the only particular, they had this thing on the map. Only thing on the map was it said this particular town was what they call a station, and basically it was a ranch. Maybe it used to be a train station. I don't know, but basically it was a ranch. It was an open gate, but it was an open field with a small shed up by the road, and that was it. That's all I saw. So I was like, okay. It was earlier in the daytime, maybe 11, 12 o'clock. I planned on I left here around, I think I left here around 11. And I said, okay, I'll be gone. It says 2.5 hours. I'll be gone. I'll be back by 1. It was almost 4 o'clock when I got back. By the time I turned around, came back up, I went back to the area that I did the right turn. I said, okay, if this map is correct, maybe I turned the wrong way. And I said, okay, when I get back on this area, there should be a right turn to take me back to the town. When I got back, it was not a right turn, it was a left turn. The map was backwards. And so that was the end of that, my sightseeing outside of the area. A few things, if you haven't guessed, this is probably it's a griping, this is a griping session, but it's also a session of, how can I put it? I think I'm proud of my resourcefulness, trying to think ahead. I had, like I said, I had put gas in the car, and I'm glad I did. And not to say the places that I passed by, because I was not expecting to be out of I just don't, I've never had a map that wrong. It had directions on there. The written directions were according to the map that they had, which was backwards. And when you're driving, I'm looking at a picture of the map. I'm not looking at all the little words underneath. And right now I don't have it because I threw it away. When I got back here, I was like, that's no. But the office that issued, they had the map issued, they had, again, hours. They're not there on a regular basis, so it was closed. The day that I went by, which I actually found out was on a Sunday, but I went back the next day to ask if they had updated map, and they were still closed. Some of the things that were automatically open in this town, the grocery store was automatically open. the downtown area. Most of the things in downtown area were closed, but away from the downtown area, they weren't. They had an open, like an open museum for dedicated to the coal miners, that memorials that the coal miners passed away. Coal mine opened in the early 1900s, and they've had smaller accidents, but they had 3 major accidents from 1970. I want to say from 1970 to 1995. They had 3 major accidents, mine collapses. So it was I want to say, and it's hot, so I am sweating. I'm looking for, I had a little towel, but I was but anyway, they had 3 major mine collapses. One was in 75, and that result, I think it was 11 men died, and then in the like 9 or 10 years later, it was another accident. I think 14 died, and then in the mid-90s, it was another one, and I want to say it was 12. And so those are all underground. So after that, they started doing open mine quarry system from the top, basically open it up from the top. And so in this area, there are mountains of just mountains through the years of, that dugout material that they were, and it's probably, they're looking for coal. Like, I guess if somebody was looking for other jewels, rocks, semi-precious stones, they probably, if they get a soft spot or whatever, they could probably have a heyday with all kind of precious jewels up there. So kind of reminds me of in North Georgia in the US, the Blue Ridge Mountains. Depending on where you are, when you go up there, and they were known for jewels years ago. They were known for jewels. If you go up there and there's rocks and stuff, you could probably, I went on one time, I had an Uber, I used to drive with Uber. I had an Uber trip in the area, and I wanted to go to a park, and I found this park pretty obscure, a little bit windy getting in there, kind of mountains area. Took my time getting in there, and I decided to go with this area, and I stopped because it was loose. It was mountains, but it was loose rocks. And as I was coming out of there, just looking at the rocks, it was like, I'm not going down in there. I would have to go a little bit further to get to the water that was, from what I recall, it was really clear, nice water. But it was just from a dugout, looking back, dugout area. But as I turned around, walking back, it's all kind of precious, semi-precious stones. I mean, just beautiful. I did a lot of crystals. I did pick up several various white crystals, some clear crystal. They're at home, but I do remember showing them to somebody, and her first response was she was a stone. She was like, "Where did you get these from? These are rare." Tourmaline. There was some citrine in there. There was one called Black Obsidian, I think was one of them. Different stones. And so I'm a stone. I like stones. I like the aesthetic beauty. I don't know a lot of the names of them. I just like a lot of the stuff, and I'm able to find some that I've been here that I'm gonna, do something. I need to work on them. Probably before I leave, I will do that. But yeah, so this mountain of stuff from getting to the cold here reminds me of that, but I didn't go in. Again, lost, that really kind of turned me off. But okay, so enough about that. Okay, the people here. Like when I read the population, once you get to know them, the people, and maybe it's me, they see this big black lady. I did see a couple of black people since I've been here. One was a lady walking down the street. I started to say something to her, kind of a young lady, but I recognized signs of some kind of addiction. And I'm here by myself. And so I don't want that energy around me. And so I just let her walk. I was sitting inside. I started to jump up and go running out because I was so excited. But after I looked at um, her gait, her stance, some other demeanor in her behavior, it's like, okay, she looks like some type of addict. So I left it alone. I saw her a couple other days. I did one day I was out driving, and I saw a really rough looking yard. I looked up and she was sitting there basically in a pile of a garage in disarray. I put it like that. On the outside, it was stuff everywhere. Um, she was nodding, looked like she was, you know, in her fixed stage or whatever you call it. But I was like, okay, I'm glad that I saw her, but that was all I needed. Another time I was in the store, and actually saw some people a family come in, indigenous, dark skin. I was so excited. I know that it was a guy and probably his wife and their daughter. The guy walked by me, caught my attention. He actually walked by me, and I'm like, and I turned and I saw her, the mom coming to me, and I was like, "Hey," and she looked at me like she started laughing. Hi, how you doing? And by then the daughter was like, and I gave her kind of a low tone. I kind of caught myself and gave her a low tone hi. And she didn't say anything. She just kind of walked around me like, ugh. So I started to go and apologize, explaining that I was so excited, but I didn't see them anymore in the store. So whatever they came in, they got out. So, but yeah, I had to get myself to say, okay, Deborah, I'm walking through the store, tell myself, okay, Deborah, calm down, calm down. And but I was so excited to see them. Um, but yeah, so the people here, okay, very standoffish. Matter of fact, there's okay, across the street, a few things happened. The person that the lady was going to be the backup for here, she said the lady was going to move. She was going to be here until they got back. And if I needed anything to contact her, and she would, let me know and basically work with anything I needed about the dog or any questions I had about it. Okay. So it's been over a week. I went by because the dog actually ran out of food. So I did get a bag of the food they said it was on sale. So I got the food that the dog eat. And come to think of it, there's also a cat that the cat comes in at night, comes through the doggy door and comes in at night. So they did have some cat food left, another bag of cat food, but they had to go in the store to get some dog food. But I went by the store that the lady was working at. Not only had she already, okay, I've been trying to contact her. She just didn't call back, and maybe because I probably didn't, my signal, whether my phone number getting going. I've invited her to WhatsApp. She didn't respond on WhatsApp. So I ended up going to the store where she worked at just to ask her, okay, because I've never had to buy, let's see, this is sit number 18, and I've never had to buy pet food. But no, I did once. On one set, I had to buy pet food. They left money for me to get the pets food. This one, I wasn't I wasn't ready. So I stopped by the store to ask her, should I go ahead and buy? And I was also going to ask her about having the dog's nails clipped before I actually did it. So I stopped by the store to ask her basically her opinion, get some feedback. Should I go ahead and get the dog's nails cut, trimmed, and the pet food? Well, not only had she had her last day at the store. The people that worked there told me she had her last day at the store, and and they suspected that she had already moved. So that was a big turnoff, because that it, how can I put it? That's what, unfortunately, that's what usually happens. You have to be very relatively independent to be a house sitter, at least what my experience has been. A lot of the so-called backup to help you, assist you, whatever. They're there for emergencies only. They're very seldom helpful. I haven't had anybody. I know I've read on some of the sites of people call when they visit people that are neighbors and stuff like that. I haven't had that. So sometimes I'll ask questions. I did have on one of my sits a couple of sits ago, the guy was helpful. And that's only because the stove turned on and I couldn't get it off. It was a fixture that cracked on the stove, and I couldn't turn the stove off. He came over with his pliers when I was there, and he did cut it off. But then when the lady got back, she went to fix it and it broke again, and then he couldn't get it off. She actually had to call. Had to show where I had to show where the gas line was to cut the stove to cut the gas off at the source. And so the it's my track of thought. The friendliness of the people here in this town is not here. I think I came across one lady, and it was only because the dog was barking, and the dog, I was walking by her, she had two dogs in the back, and the dog started barking, and my dog started pulling, which normally she would walk by other dogs and wouldn't hesitate, just keep walking, no hesitation at all. And this particular one, she did hesitate. So I thought she maybe knew the dog. I don't know if she did or not, but yeah. So, we kind of kicked off the conversation. Basically, I said, I thought she might have known her, but I don't know if she knew her or not. But based on their interaction, I think she might have known her. The lady just kind of laughed off. She said, "Oh, okay, that's fine." But other than that, walking the dog in this neighborhood with the people, they don't say hi. I've said hi to a couple of people. They act like they don't see me. They don't hear me. It's the same with the next door neighbor. The guy comes out in his Speedos with a stomach bigger than mine to smoke, looking in the house because his porch is on this side. I've said hi to him several times. They don't speak at all. So it's like, kids come down the street playing. They sometimes run from me, I'm sure, because I'm different, but they don't say hi. They don't acknowledge. A couple of times they'll run off. So they're very standoffish. I went to an event a few nights ago. It was supposed to be a dinner, like a fundraiser for the RSL, like it's kind of like the retired VFW. They call it here RSL, Retired Return Service League or something like that. But I kind of misunderstood some of the I had to sign in when I got in. I bought a drink. I thought I was getting a membership, but it was unclear. But actually, I was paying for a soda, and then they said it was going to be reasonably priced meals. I thought I was paying for a meal with the ticket, and I really misunderstood. I did. I misunderstood, and apparently I didn't ask the right questions because I didn't get the right answer. So I went out there to get a meal. I thought the ticket was going to get me the meal. I had to pay for the meal. I did pay for a meal or a snack, as it turns out. Very disappointed in the snack. She said it was going to be 3 pieces of fish and fries. Basically, it was one piece that they broke up. Yeah, one piece of fish that they broke up, And it wasn't even like they broke it up before they cooked it. It was like they cooked it and then broke up the batter when they broke up the pieces. It was okay, but I was very just dismayed. I paid for a thing to do a raffle. The people next door were in charge of the raffle. When I paid for the ticket inside, the young lady told me that the raffle starts at 7 o'clock. 7 came and went, 7:30 came and went. Finally, I was just like, okay, when are they having this raffle? So I actually was like, you know what? Let me go, because a few hours had passed, and I was like, okay, let me go and check on the dog. And on my way here, it's like, you know what? When I go in, she's gonna want me to stay. So let me fix. So actually turned around and went back, and I went inside to the because it was separate. It was a bar where you sign in for the event, and then you went out into a larger area. That's where they had um the people there who were making the cooking the food. It was like an outside type patio, and they had a stage. When I was inside, the lady went to set up the thing, like she got a speaker, like she was going to do like a karaoke type microphone thing. I said, oh, okay, they're going to have they have a lot of folks just raffle and stuff. So it's like, okay. So I went and went outside, got my meal outside. Oh, before that happened, I was inside the area where the bar was, where they were doing where you sign in before you go in. And I signed in, I got the raffle tickets. I went to sit down and I started chatting up. I said, hi, how y'all doing? And stuff like that. And the lady said, okay, we're doing fine. So I said, okay. And I said, I'm here in town watching this. And the lady said, we know who you are. Oh, okay. And her daughter looked like she was probably in her mid, maybe mid to late 20s. She said, yeah, we're your next door neighbor. And I was like, neighbor? And I'm thinking to myself, I don't recall. And come to find out it was them. The guy was not at the table because I would have recognized his face. He was not at the table. The woman was there, I guess assuming his wife, and her daughter was there. I had not, at that point, I had not seen the daughter at all. And I was like, oh, and I said, oh, I am so unobservant. How y'all doing tonight? With that, I left. Because to me, anybody that they don't even say hi, they have never said hi to me. Not even since then. No, no hi, no how you doing? What's it like today? Nothing. I basically got up and I left. I went outside to sit outside. I prefer to be out in the heat than sit. And it was air conditioned in there, but it was like, no, I am not. I can't even. I've spoken to y'all at least 3 times coming out of the house, and they're not even. Won't even say hi at all. So I just like, you know what? No. But anyway, I went outside. I got my food. Kind of disappointed. At least the appearance of the food disappointed me. The food actually, it was okay. The fish was okay. The fries, no, no. They told me that the food was good. It was not. It was mediocre. I put it like that. So I actually went. When I left, and I turned around, went back in, got back in. Now the tickets that I had, they were number 2, 12, 22. Things ended in the same number ended on each one, and I actually got 5 tickets. It was 10 Aussie, like maybe $6.50, $7 or something like that in US. And when I got back, I went inside and I asked her, I said, what time do you have it? She said, oh, the raffle is over. And I might have been gone for maybe 4 minutes, 5 tops. And I got back and I was like, the raffle is over. And she said, yeah, those are the numbers on the board. I look up the numbers on the board. It was 5 different categories that you could have won on. It was 71, 41, 61, another number that ended in 1, and then the last number was 4. So that means that they had this they had a raffle in secret, which probably means that they probably sat at their table and pulled out numbers. And if you didn't come up there within a certain, going once, going twice or so. So in other words, you had to be in that room in order to get the prize, as opposed to them coming out to the area where they came out while I was waiting on my food, trying to sell more raffle tickets. And I was wondering why people out there were very, I mean, just indignant about not buying tickets. Like, no, I don't want no raffle tickets. Get away from me. Leave me alone. I mean, I'm thinking to myself, oh, whoa. Just a no would have been nice. I mean, I'm like, what is wrong with these people? I mean, they were just get away. No, we ain't staying for no raffle. Get away from me. And they call her by name. Get away from me. I don't want no tickets. I'm not giving you money for them tickets. Okay. Right. I'm thinking to myself, okay. So, and then after when I came back and saw what happened, because initially I thought they ain't gonna come out here and have this raffle because they scared this black lady. I'm the only one in here. I bought 5 tickets. They scared I might win something. So they ain't coming out here. They go wait till after I leave before they come running out here. Okay, let's have the raffle. And I said, and that was part of the reason I turned around, went back. It's like, okay, I'm gonna sit, because I actually went outside in the car and I was like, I'm gonna wait till they have the raffle. I'm gonna sit right here by this karaoke thing and I'm waiting till they have raffle so I can hear the number and I can get out and go get in and claim my prize. Because one of the prizes was it was some knickknacks. And one of the prizes was groceries at the store. And I was going to, if I had won it, I would have left it for the people here. I was like, okay. But that never happened. And when I went back inside and she said, oh, the raffle, she said, and I was like, you already had the raffle? She said, yeah. I said, oh, she said, do you have one of the numbers? And I didn't. I said, no. And she was like, yeah, they already had the raffle. And it dawned on me. That is why the people, because a couple of people bought tickets and based on the questions they were asked, they were new, probably just visiting an area like me, didn't know, not clueless. And it was like, okay, those people are not good people. It's like, okay, so it might be better that when I say hi, they don't speak. So it's like, oh, okay. And y'all been doing this for a long time. Because them people at the event, they knew. They know y'all, they know what y'all do. So, but yeah, to me, the town is not that big for that kind of, for people to know that you do this. It's like, yeah, okay. But yeah, maybe over time, if I'd have been here, probably I've been here for 3 weeks, so that's not a short time. That's not a real short time. But yeah, just based off the standoffishness of the people, and maybe they're thinking the same thing about me. They're just not, at least for me, they're just not that friendly. There was one guy across the street. I don't know if they went on vacation or what happened, but I haven't seen him in a few days. The dog doesn't like him. He had a truck that would be parked out in front of in front of his house. The dog would go outside, and the dog would look over there, keep looking over there. And if his truck was there, the dog would come right back. If I wasn't out there, the dog would turn around and go right back in the house. So like, okay, that's a sign. Okay, if a dog, to me, if a dog or a cat don't like you, that's a sign. Okay, I just like, okay. I did say hi to him a couple of times. Again, he didn't speak either, but he would sit there and just looking. I got to where I would close. I started closing the windows when he was there. If I'm going to be moving around about in the early evening or whatever, I just close the shade. But yeah. Now, what I found out about me, sensitivity. I am sensitive to behavior like that. They have a pool. It's not the pool is open. I didn't really know they have different activities that are going on there that I didn't go over there. I haven't gone over there. It's a decent pool. Several of the places that I stay at, they have a pool available. I will start using some people's pool. But I'm, when people are that unfriendly, I don't feel safe. And so when I say safe, I mean emotionally safe. I've had some people teasing me in the background about my size, like if that matters. So I'm a little paranoid about it to some extent. This particular reason that I didn't go is because everything here is cloth. All of the sitting seats are cloth based. The chairs here, the table, the couch, the vehicle I'll be driving over there with, everything is cloth. So when I get in and I get wet and my hair gets wet, in this particular location, I did go by there and I didn't notice any restrooms there. They probably have them, but I'll be coming back wet, getting in the car, my hair is wet. They don't have any, aside from me sitting on the steps for 2 or 3 hours while my hair is dripping. They don't have any, and they did tell me that the stairs get slippery when they're wet. They don't have any plastic chairs to sit in. Like I said, the chair that I did sit in when I first got here that broke was as close as it was. It wasn't. It had cloth slats in it. It wasn't plastic, but it did have like cloth slats in. But it was weather beaten. I did tell them that it broke, and it's like, oh, that thing was on its way out anyway. So, but yeah, so all of the tent, the bed, everything's cloth. The bed doesn't have a mattress protector on it. So if I come back, basically I'm gonna have to be moving around for 2 or 3 days just while my hair is getting wet, trying to cover up the pillow so the pillow don't get wet, the bed, the mattress don't get wet, the couch don't get wet with stains on it, and it's just too much. So when I get hot, I just take a cold shower. Cool shower is what works for me. So, but yeah, some of the things I like, I'm sensitive to that. One of the other things that I found out about myself is that I was calling it a rain puller. I'm a rain magnet. And that's been going on for that. Things that stand out to me. When I got here, it was raining a couple of times based on, right now I'm rediscovering that particular effect that I have. A couple of times I could feel a negative, how can I word it? I was angry a few times. When one was about this ordeal with this so-called dinner and raffle. I was very annoyed at the situation, and it started to pull. I could hear thunder in the background, and it started to rain a little bit. This particular dog was very averse to rain, thunder. She gets very sullen, very quiet, very withdrawn when that happens. And I could tell from my own, I said, okay, I have to calm down. And there's some, I know some people in the US who acknowledge their rain, but I don't know necessarily a lot of them by name, but I know that they get in a certain vicinity, it's going to rain. So, but yeah, So I'm working on that. Now, the only thing about it is when I get to an area and it's raining, same thing happened with the last location. They got more rain than they had gotten in a long, more rain. Actually, I talked to the postal care. She said that was more rain than they've had since she lived there. And she was probably in her 60s. She said she had never seen that much rain before in such a short period of time. And I'm also reminded there was a few other when I got to Brisbane, not Brisbane, coming in to Sydney, it rained on the way to where I was going, rained a few, and then people were like, "Oh, this is unusual. It doesn't usually rain like this." Last year when I went to Tanzania, one of the first initial safaris we went on, the guy said it's rain. He said something's going on. He said it doesn't rain, and nature jaguars came out to greet me. One of my sisters said, "You've always had that." She said, "You've always been able to pull rain all your life." I'm in my 60s. I had not noticed any of that, none of it. And my sister was like, "Yeah," almost like, "Duh." And so, um, I am more aware of that, and I'm sure I'm not the only one. Um, but yeah, so being aware of that right now, I'm trying to look and see material on that, on what I need to do to really a combination of release and or use it. I can see it being useful in areas of drought. But when I don't control is the amount. I might be able to control it as far as my what I call my release of anger or negativity or something like that. But the amount that comes from it, I don't control. I don't. So, um, but yeah, I'm aware of my. I didn't think I was that sensitive around people, but I realize it's a safety. I feel unsafe when I have people that are not forthcoming. Of course, now I feel unsafe too if people are too friendly. Um, my thing is, what's the motive here? And I tried in those particular situations, I try to give a give and take. Okay, if they're too friendly, let me ask them some questions about themselves. Let me find out, let me dig a little bit deeper in their background and history and what makes them tick, and you know, some of their early traumas and stuff like that I'm sharing with my traumas and what are sharing your traumas. So it's an exchange. Um, but when there are so many people that don't, and by the way, this particular dinner that I went to, I was there by myself. I sat at a table and nobody said, aside from the lady that when I went up to the register, the people that I was spending money with that spoke or had some, type of necessity for interaction did. Nobody said hi to me. Nobody came to the table that I was sitting at and introduced themselves. They're all kind of paired up. I didn't notice anybody there that was there by themselves, but everybody else was paired up. It was one table that was right in front of mine. As soon as I sat down, they basically got up. Trying to think whatever else happened. But no, they didn't. I saw them going to talk and sit with other people that they didn't necessarily get there with, but nobody came up to me and said, "Hi, you're different around here. What's your name?" Type of thing. Like I said, I'm the only Black person there, surrounded by probably 50 to 75 different groups and children and stuff running around. So I didn't feel safe, which is a big part of the reason why I decided not to go to the. Okay, it's almost your dinner time. I'll get you. Give me a few minutes. I'm almost done. Okay. Okay. Yeah, she likes that scratch underneath her chin. And I did close the door because of the lawnmower sound. Okay, hold on, let me let her outside. Let me open the door so you can go back outside for a few minutes before you eat. Yeah, I'm almost done. Okay, let me let you back out. You don't want that. Okay. Okay, you ducking and dodging. You must sense the rain or something coming. Well, it looks pretty good out. Okay, give me a few minutes, okay? All right. But anyway, those are some things I found out about me. And another one is the impending entry back into the US. Right now, I've been very relatively relaxed. I can count on one hand the number of times that I've heard gunfire here. I do have a hiatus coming up in May that I will be going to an area that I've been told that is more indigenous people there. I wanted to participate in something indigenous, and I need, based on my reaction at the grocery store, I need to be around some more darker hued people. Not that I've necessarily had any fantastic luck with some of them, but again, part of the reason I come here is to learn, to unlearn some stuff. I put it like that, to unlearn some stuff. The effect of colonization is the same here. But yeah, so if this turned out to be mainly a gripe session, trying to think before this picnic, this dinner the other day, trying to observe what I did get an opportunity to see the second largest grain silo elevator system in the state of Queensland, according to the book. There were a lot of birds, a lot of cockatiels out there. You have grain, you have all places that were out there. A lot of them were actually in the trees, but there was some on the ground. But it was a large contingency of cockatiels. I did video that. The butterflies, they were different here. I had not seen some of the butterflies that were here. I've seen in the US, they have these white butterfly, triangular shaped butterflies here. They're actually different shades. There are some white, there's some light green ones, there were some yellow ones. Light yellow, light green color. That was beautiful to watch. Again, deciduous trees. I think I said that before. Deciduous trees, they're a variety. I love the fragrance, the fragrant air fragrance here. Just natural. You wash clothes and hang them out, coming in, and they smell like flowers. It's beautiful. So, but yeah, but this particular area, probably if you're outgoing, I guess, extrovert, you would probably, I guess, would do okay in this area. Being a person of color, Black person, I'm just not. I start off with little steps. I'll say hi to you, stuff like that, and then we can exchange that. But if you don't say hi back, I'm done. So, but yeah, but it's still hot here. It is summertime here. Hopefully, the next location won't be so. I'll still have available, or be able to find a local pool. This particular area, the pool, and I'm petting a dog, she's under the table. It's probably free to swim here, but I'm okay. I'm okay. Okay, I might go out tomorrow. It's actually my last day. I might go out tomorrow. Maybe I'll be somewhat dry by the time the people get back. But today I'm gonna finish, I'm gonna do some, wash my clothes. The few little clothes that I got, I'll wash them. Probably hang them up and then get the loose water out of them. If they get back, when the guy is here, I'll probably put them in my room or something like that. But finish packing up tomorrow. I did go ahead and do some preliminary packing. Tomorrow I'll be here. Tomorrow's a full day. My transportation leaves on the day after tomorrow for me, the 13th. So, but yeah. But anyway, if you got any comments, questions, let me know. Post them. I'll talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.